Welcome to the Hamumu Halloween Home Horror Hoedown, the podcast where we watch scary movies so you don't have to.
From award-winning to completely unknown, we take them all way too seriously.
I'm your host, Mike Hommel.
And I'm your host, Solange Hommel.
Now, warning, we use a ghoulish number of spoilers, so watch the movies first.
Second warning, we don't know anything about anything, so don't take us seriously as we take these movies seriously. It is once again raining.
It is raining, and what's dangerous about that is all the water around, because water is where sharks live.
That was a fantastic transition.
Yeah.
That was delightful.
Was it? Was it delightful?
That was probably one of your best. Yes. Although from the movie that we just watched, demon sharks don't live in the rain, they live in lakes.
No, but possessed people, possessed by sharks, really like the rain because it means water, and they just are into water for some reason.
All things water.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. This is all according to Shark Exorcist from 2014.
Shark Exorcist.
You had questions before we watched it as to whether this was going to be about a shark who performed exorcisms or people possessed by sharks that a priest would exorcise the sharks.
Or a shark that was possessed by a demon that needed to be exorcised out of it.
Yeah, by a marine biologist priest.
You know, that niche... the niche industry of marine biology ministry.
Yeah. And the answer is that it's about... Well, first, I think the answer is that this movie doesn't have a plot.
It wasn't about any of those things.
It has a vague idea of thoughts.
It's one of those movies. We've come across a couple of those in the last few years. It's one of those movies where it's like a 6-year-old is telling you a story.
Yeah.
Where everything connects to the thing right before it.
Sometimes.
Well, okay. Yeah, it didn't actually follow that. A 6-year-old can tell a story where everything connects to the immediate predecessor. But if you stretch it out long enough, pretty soon where you're at has nothing to do with where you started. It was sort of like that. It just kind of kept rambling through the fields of creativity and sharks. And
nuns.
Yes. And then every once in a while, there would be a scene break, and then we would just start up with a whole new set of people doing a whole new thing. And the only thing that tied it to the rest of it was that there was a whole scene where there wasn't even a shark in it.
I don't know.
I
mean, that's true.
With the girl sunbathing and the heavy breather watching her.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember how that ended, but the nun showed up.
The nun came back.
Yeah.
So it did wrap around in some way.
And then a shark did show up and eat the nun. Only it wasn't a shark, it was a person. That's an issue you have to contend with in this movie, is that sometimes sharks are people.
It's hard to tell, because sometimes the sharks were people, and sometimes I sort of got the sense that the people were sharks.
Sure.
It was all very convoluted. Anyway, the premise of this movie, I think, if you clear away all the chuff, is that there's a devil-worshipping nun.
Definitely.
Who feels she's being persecuted. She probably is.
Probably. Devil worshipping is really looked down upon in the nun community.
I feel like between devil worshipping and being a nun, someone is persecuting you, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, she thinks she's being persecuted, so she calls out to the Dark Lord to send her an avenger. And what she is sent, she's standing on the shore of a lake at the time, and what she is sent is a demon shark.
Yeah.
I think.
And the demon shark never really interacts with anybody or anything. It just gets cut to in shots where it's swimming around in open water.
And sometimes there's shots where it's coming directly at the camera, and you're just looking into its gaping maw.
But it'll be like, oh no, there's a shark attack happening, and what you see is a shark swimming around.
A series of cuts between the people doing their high quality acting.
This is so good acting.
To show that they are being attacked by a shark, where they're acting as though the shark actively has them in his mouth and is like flailing them around, interspersed with cuts to the demon shark, which is really just a cartoon CGI shark with red eyes. Yeah, swimming back and forth in the water or swimming toward the camera with his mouth open, but never actively touching a human.
Yeah. And the humans aren't like overlaid into the shot. Like you could easily just paste them in. No, none of that.
Yeah, this was a level of editing that I would almost venture to say that I could accomplish with the skill set I currently have, which is none.
Speaking of scenes which introduced new characters that had nothing to do with anything, late in the movie we're introduced to two girls trying to rush a sorority, and the sorority girl who's taking them, hazing them, saying, okay, she drives them to the ocean. To the lake.
Uh-huh.
She drives them
One
to
might
the
be
lake.
fooled into thinking it's an ocean because there's a shark in it.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not.
Common confusion.
It's very much a lake. In fact, they weren't even hardly in the lake. They were like ankle deep in the lake.
Yes. So she's trying to haze them with the fact that there's been these shark attacks in this lake. And she's like, you guys have to swim out there. And there's 100 funny things about this scene. But
yeah,
my
you have
point...
to go out as far as you can for 10 minutes before you can turn around. And I'm like, they've gotten to their ankles.
And they stopped cold.
It was like
right
a single step into the lake.
And she was fine with that. She's like, only 5 minutes left, guys. Are you going to come back or not? Like, no, we're fine right here. There's no danger in a 6 inches of water.
Yeah.
But she's standing on the dock yelling at them while they're in the water. And the shark attacks her, I will say, I imply, because
the movie implied it?
What we see is, of course, the shark swimming out in open water with nobody around, and everybody freaking out like they see a shark, even though there's no fin, there's nothing.
And it's definitely open water because there's nothing. There's no
nothing
seaweed. There's no like lake bottom. There's no fish. There's no nothing. It's just murky water.
Yeah, it's minimum 20 feet deep. So there's a brief flash of the shark's face in bright orange and yellow colors, and that's it. We don't see anything else of the sorority girl. The two girls trying to be in the sorority then are freaking out like they're seeing a shark attack. They're going, oh no, she's being eaten.
Oscar-worthy performances.
Of course, like all the rest. It is... I don't know. She gets eaten by a shark without
from the dock. She's standing on
a dock. And there's... I mean, I've seen other movies like this where they like show a shark jump onto the dock. And it's like, wow. And it's a terrible effects. They didn't even try that.
They did do that at one point later in the movie. There was somebody, was it the nun? I don't know. There was somebody toward the end who was standing somewhere not in the water, and a shark leapt out of the water and like arced across the sky toward them. But I don't remember who.
So don't remember that.
There was one because it stood out to me because all the rest of
put in the effort.
Like, yeah, the shark had never been on camera while attacking before.
Well, and the thing is, they didn't have to do any of these shark attacks because the premise of the movie, well, one of the random thoughts of the movie is that these people get possessed by sharks and then they like have fake shark teeth in their mouths and they kind of go at people. They could have just attacked them and then have blood spray everywhere. Like, those are people, you can film them, but no, they would go in the water with the victim, go underwater. We see the shark swim around, and then the victim gets sucked under. And we never. What did the person turn into a shark?
It almost seemed like that. It was almost like a Splash situation,
yeah,
or Little Mermaid, these humans who had like performed some kind of ritual with an evil octopus down below were able to walk around on land, but if they got water on them, they turned into sharks.
Legs?
Yes. Yeah, if they got water on them, they turned back into sharks. But they were obsessed with water to the point of like staring into glasses of water and fish
Yeah.
tanks and everything.
The post-credits scene. I guess we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Okay. So one thing that really stood out to me that I feel we must talk about is the very first shark attack that happened. First of all, it was these three girls. There was a lengthy scene with them in the car doing a whole lot of establishing themselves as characters. Like it's this whole like nonsense conversation they're having where it's clear the only purpose of the conversation is to establish setting and time and the names of these characters.
Which we don't remember.
No. Which, I mean, honestly, can't blame the movie for that. I never remember the names of characters. But it's this ridiculous, pointless conversation that they have in the car where they're also bickering and mad at each other about all kinds of things. One incredibly stupid friend who's just like, whatever, all the time, and apparently doesn't know what a lake is.
Yeah, she was like, what can we do with this lake?
Is there at least going to be a water... What was it? A wave pool? Is there at least going to be a wave pool?
Yeah.
No, it's a lake. Anyway, they get to the lake and one of them is the first shark attack victim. And she does the thing that we talked about before where she's like throwing herself. She's so clearly, she's pretending to swim, but in that way where you know that like she looks like she's swimming, but her arms are touching the ground.
Yeah.
And she's throwing herself around, and we're seeing the shark swim up to her while she's still already throwing herself around. Shark's still swimming up to her. Finally, her friend comes and saves her and pulls her body out of the water, basically. But she's not completely dead. She's just, like, mostly dead because there's I don't know, maybe 4 inches across most wound, I'm using air quotes, on her thigh. Which is, yes, very clearly just like dried ketchup in a circle on her leg.
Yeah.
It's a wound. It's not even actively bleeding anymore. It's already clotted after 2 seconds. And yet...
Well, there's a reason for that.
She's dying from this shark attack.
Well, yeah, this dogfish attack. It was horrific. So that's the thing, is we only ever see the shark out in open water. But from this bite, we can surmise that what we are seeing is a 2-foot shark.
Yes.
They said it was evil. They never said it was big.
That's a really good point, because there is nothing in the movie that suggests that this is actually a large shark. So perhaps where we're seeing him swim through open water, there's not 20 feet of water there.
Yeah, it's a foot deep.
It's 5 feet. It's 5 feet. So these 3 girls sort of play a role in the rest of the movie, or in other parts of the movie too, because there's a scene. So one of the girls is in a fight with her boyfriend,
Bobby.
And it turns out that it's because... So girl A is fighting with her boyfriend. Girl B...
Shark girl is fighting with her boyfriend.
Yes.
And whatever girl.
Right. Girl B, whatever girl, the really stupid friend who doesn't know what lakes are, is apparently, like, into her boyfriend and trying to get with him. And at first I was like, oh, she's having an affair with this girl's boyfriend.
No.
But it doesn't seem like the boyfriend even knows that girl B is into him, which is very upsetting to her. And then there's girl C, who is like trying to be the glue that holds their friend group together or something.
They're worth keeping.
Apparently. Yeah, so they come into play again later because there's a scene where girl B and the boyfriend are at a carnival.
Yes. And by this point, Shark Girl is completely possessed by the shark. What she is she has dark makeup under her eyes. So that means she is possessed. She is actually a shark, but in human body.
Something to watch for in real life.
Yeah, absolutely.
So she's following, and there's this hilarious moment where the boyfriend and girl B are walking through the carnival. Girl A is following them because she wants to attack girl B, or possibly both of them. I don't know. She's got a shark brain in this moment.
Yeah.
And then girl C and hot priest brother, I call him that because he's the brother of somebody who was murdered in some other random scene. Like he was attacked by a shark in another random scene.
By Shark Girl.
So he gets a letter from like the diocese saying your brother's been killed in a shark attack, because that's something that happens. And he like comes.
He knows that means it's a demon shark, and he's gonna go exorcise it.
So somehow Girl C and the hot priest not hook up, but like are in the same place, are interacting with each other.
They're pursuing the case.
Yes, and so they are following Girl A. So all of them, there's like these three groups of people just wandering through this carnival.
One following the other.
It's ridiculous.
Is it?
And nothing really happens.
Something happens. Bobby rejects whatever girl.
Yeah, he does, which makes her mad. And then, does the shark girl even attack either of them?
Maybe she gets Bobby?
I don't even remember.
I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, it was not easy to follow what was going on in the movie, whether it's the attacks or any other aspect of the movie.
But you're harping on the plot and being negative, but I want to go into the acting, because there's this thing, people talk about like superstar actors, and they're magnetic, they're amazing. You can't take your eyes off of them when they're on the screen, right? That's like a thing. I've never really understood that until Whatever Girl. Literally could not take my eyes off of her at every moment, because there's so much subtlety to it. Everything she did, you have to watch every bit of her face, because there's 100 different things going on her face in every moment. She's looking at the camera going, I'm on film.
Yeah, she is.
She's trying to remember her lines. She's studiously not looking at the person she's supposed to be talking to.
Oh, and she's very definitely making direct eye contact with someone who is off camera.
The person holding a biscuit.
Holding up a page with her lines on it.
Yeah.
Or, somehow feeding her cues.
Yeah. It's amazing, and I've never seen anything like it.
Okay, how do you know that? Have you been doing something behind Allie's back with Bobby? Whatever. No, I'm serious. If you have been, Allie's gonna be super pissed, and it's just gonna make a big mess of things. Whatever. Lauren, I'm serious. A big mess.
My favorite part about that is how permanently this half grin of, oh my gosh, I'm in a movie is on her face. You can tell the whole time that 85% of her brain is occupied by the idea that a camera is filming her.
Yeah, she's real into it.
And she loves it. She's the whole time while she's trying to do her lines that she clearly cannot remember.
Whatever.
Her lines that she can't remember that are not actually sentences at all.
Just one word.
Oh, she was fun to watch.
She was. And there's more fun in the movie, because we haven't even mentioned Ghost Whackers.
Ghost Whackers. And the Ghost Fakers?
Ghost Faker.
Faker. Yes. The Ghost Whackers, who are one of those TV shows that are showing you supernatural
YouTube
things.
Shows.
Well, yeah, YouTube. It definitely said it was YouTube.
Oh, it did.
Yeah. Definitely a YouTube show revealing the supernatural to people. And then they're being chased by this other girl who is a doubter.
Very much.
A debunker who has her own YouTube show called Ghost Faker.
Yeah, singular Ghost Faker.
Yeah.
Which is weird. It sounds like she's faking things, but...
It does. So my favorite part about that was that...
Yeah.
Somehow, in the making of this movie, Shark Exorcist, when they were designing the scenes about this YouTube show that's being filmed.
Big meetings about how to arrange the scenes and making storyboards.
When the multitude of people who were involved gathered together and critically thought this out, they decided in their infinite wisdom that the best way to film this would be to have the host of Ghost Whackers talking to the movie camera.
The Shark Exorcist camera.
Yes. While another person with a handheld camera was also on camera.
So that we understand they're filming a show.
Filming her. But in order to arrange that and for us to see everybody, he had to be directly behind her, filming the back of her head.
Yeah.
So through the whole scene, my brain keeps feeding me imaginary images of what it looks like to watch Ghost Whackers, which is just this girl talking to you while you look at the back of her head.
You'd barely be able to hear her. It'd be all muffled.
Yeah.
It's so good.
While the camera studiously follows around behind her, making sure that it's always at the back of her head.
That was done in multiple scenes. So it was no mistake.
Nope.
That's Ghost Whackers.
Yep.
It really made me think of those TikToks where they show how they film a funky shot, and they're like, "This is how we filmed it, and this is the end result." And I'm really sad they didn't show us the end result.
Oh, there was so much going on.
There was. It was really a convoluted plot that didn't ultimately make any sense, but like so many new layers would keep appearing, and I think it's just because they were like, hey, there's my buddy, let's put him in the movie.
Also related to the way that they filmed the Ghost Whackers thing, where it was clearly didn't make any sense. We mentioned the sunbathing scene.
Yeah.
In the sunbathing scene, it's like 45 minutes, it feels like.
Oh, it the longest
forever.
Scene in movie history.
And it's just this girl getting out of her car, walking to...
Wait, it starts with the girl driving her car for 10 minutes or so.
I forgot that. Okay, she drives to... In real time, we travel to the lake.
Yeah.
She gets out of her car. She brings her towel.
Has to walk.
She walks across...
half a mile.
She walks across a vast expanse of, like, lush green grass.
Yeah.
To get to this, like, weird patchy area where it's half grass, half dirt.
Yeah.
Which I think is supposed to be beach, but the water was still quite a ways away. Yeah. It was not beach. So she lays her towel out. She lays down. She immediately falls asleep. And she must be so asleep, because then what we see for the rest of the time is this like bikini-clad girl laying on the ground, while a guy who we saw hiding behind a tree when she first showed up comes and takes a bunch of pictures with his cell phone of her from so many different angles. Yeah. Just like walking all around her, taking pictures, and then stands next to her and scrolls through the pictures that he took while the camera is like over his shoulder, looking at the pictures on the phone, and her on the ground. Like it's all lined up so that you can see artfully the camera arranged. And the girl, and he's scrolling through, and you're like, oh, this guy's creepy. And through the entire scene, you're hearing this like creepy heavy breathing, which at first I thought was the guy from behind the tree. But you see him on camera. It's not him. He is not doing this. So there's an added layer. Like, not only is there the creepy tree guy taking pictures of the bikini girl, who is apparently unconscious on the ground at this point, because none of this is affecting her, but there's also the guy filming the movie is heavy breathing into the camera.
It's the layers, yeah. What's great about this whole thing is he takes his pictures, he scrolls through them, then he goes away. He's gone. That was his whole thing.
Nothing happens to him. It's perfectly fine. He goes away. The moment he leaves, she wakes up.
Sees an evil demon nun who stabs her and kills her.
Yes.
I think it's important to note that this woman was never a part of the movie up until this point. She's never mentioned again or considered again. And she just gets killed and thrown in the lake. It doesn't have any effect on the plot. It's just that she's dead now. It was just extra. Just a bonus.
Okay, I have two thoughts. Plot-wise, it was sort of like a bunch of people had written short stories about a lake that had a demon shark in it.
The Shark trilogy.
And then they were like, how do we make all of this into one movie? They did not do a good job of it. But then secondarily, the thought that came into my head as every scene had this new, like, skinny, booby, blonde lady in it. I'm like, how many skinny, blonde ladies with large boobs does this person who is making this movie know? Because I could tell them apart enough to know that they were all different people. But basically they were all the same person. It sort of makes me wonder if they didn't just go to some, like, very white, very blonde sorority somewhere to cast this entire movie.
And then the people they were casting were like, we have a great idea for a scene.
Possibly. I thought you were going to say then the people that they were casting were like, can my boyfriend be in this movie too?
Yeah.
Because I think that was also what was happening.
Yeah. Well, and we do know that 2 of the people in this movie had the same last name. We never quite figured out what that meant. But
yeah.
Siblings, married, I don't know.
Who knows?
We watched this movie yesterday, the day before yesterday, I think. And then yesterday, just out of the blue, I decided I wanted to try out the show Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, which I've heard about over the years many times, and I've seen clips of, and it looks very funny because Matt Berry, Richard Ayoade, it's, I mean, how could it not be good? Mm-hmm. And I checked it out with you, and it was funny. And the premise of that show is that we're watching a show from the 80s that was very, very bad, and we're being amused by how bad it is. And the thing I kept thinking as we were watching it was, this scene is overly long and slow, but it's so much better than what they did in Shark Exorcist.
I was thinking the same thing about
They're
the
trying
acting.
to be terrible.
I was thinking the same thing about the acting because they were using all the same things.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's just weirdly standing in a semicircle.
And there's weird pauses.
Yes. And there's all these very dramatic sentences being said with a completely flat affect.
Yeah.
Yes, it was all, but the same thing. I was like, oh, there's such a dramatic difference between I don't know any better and this is what I'm doing this thinking I'm making a quality movie versus we're trying to make something bad and we're acting in this way intentionally.
But they were trying to be bad and they couldn't even come close to achieving what Shark Exorcist did.
Yeah.
And that brings me to the post-credits scene. Just needs a special mention. You know, in MCU movies, you watch the credits and then you get this little tidbit that kind of sets up the next movie or is just a fun joke. Mm-hmm. It's usually 30 seconds long.
Yeah.
This one was 73 minutes long, I think.
It felt like it. with about 54 of those minutes. Well, no, with those minutes being mostly evenly divided between watching this girl just look at a fish tank in a claim jumper. In a mall somewhere.
Very clearly marked claim jumper.
I want to find out if there's a claim jumper in the Mall of America, because if there is, I would bet that this was they sneak filmed it in the Mall of America.
Film.
Snuck film. So evenly divided between her looking at the claim jumper fish tank and being in a gift store, sort of like the kind of gift store you would find at a
zoo.
Yeah.
Or an aquarium.
Yes, an aquarium where it's rows and rows of stuffed animals of different kinds of sea creatures.
Yeah.
Only this one had 7 different kinds of sharks, and she was obsessively loving on all the different kinds of sharks and then gathering them up in her arms.
We needed to watch her try out upwards of 5 different sharks, and each one carefully tested and thoroughly examined.
Yeah. Which reminds me that character, that was not the first time we saw that character.
It wasn't?
No, because that was the character who was in the park scene. Yes, it was.
Well, she had long hair.
I know. For some reason, her hair was different. It was the same girl. I don't know. We could go back and look and watch it again and try to figure it out. But
she's definitely playing the same character.
Yes, I think it was the same person, same character, and this character is very overtly autistically coded. When we first meet her, she's laying on a merry-go-round in a park. She's got a plastic shark toy. She gets up and she runs childlike across the park and is oh yeah, she does say her name because she's my name's so and so. Who are you? And she's talking to, I forget who
Shark
it is.
Girl.
What? Yeah. Who is then creepily eyeballing her. And the whole time, I couldn't tell. For the first several minutes of it, I'm is this an adult playing a child character?
Yeah, she might have been playing an 8-year-old.
Or is this an adult character that just has the mind of a child? Because it was very much like this person was not using adult thinking.
Yeah.
They were a childlike person, whether they were supposed to be adult or not. But then Shark Girl is like being all creepy and leery at her.
Mm-hmm.
And then they end up at this girl's pool. So I think she was an adult with limited cognitive ability.
Yeah.
And being like leered at by this other girl who was a shark who like the whole thing was gross and upsetting and super offensive. Like the movie was bad. This was the part of the movie where I was like, oh, this is unacceptably bad.
That was real problematic.
Someone should have said, this is a bad idea. We should cut these scenes out. But to have that in the movie and then to spend another like 10, 15 minutes after the credits watching this character pick out stuffed sharks and stare at a fish tank for no reason other than later she goes and she like hides around the corner at the mall and like has a little seizure.
She's having a panic attack or something.
And I think she is possessed, right?
Yeah, she just froths at the mouth and that's the end of the movie.
Yeah. And like, why? What? Why?
Sequel setup.
Yeah. Ugh, oh yeah. That's horrific.
That's not good. Wow.
It was so bad. It was so bad.
Yeah, that was a black stain on an otherwise pristine film.
Ratings. My rating of this movie might come as a bit of a surprise to people who have listened to this podcast. Because it sounds like I didn't like this movie. It sounds... I mean, maybe. It might sound like I didn't like this movie. I had a lot of critique of this movie.
Fair.
However, there is a very specific sweet spot with bad movies that are so bad that they are highly entertaining to watch. Because the whole thing, you're just like, what? Why are they doing... What's happening now? What is that? Why are they doing that? I find that kind of movie very entertaining.
Me too.
Possibly because I grew up watching Mystery Science Theater 3000. So the idea of mocking bad movies is like built into me. But it's easy to not land in that sweet spot because you might not be quite bad enough. And then it's just not fun. It's just bad. Yep. It's not entertaining. Or it might be that you're trying to be bad, and that never works. You cannot hit the sweet spot if you are trying to be bad.
I mean, movies like this are trying to be bad, but they're bad at it. And that's what's fun.
Yes, that they think they're doing one thing, and they don't even realize that they're doing another thing entirely.
Yeah.
This movie found the sweet spot right away, and it stayed there through the whole movie. In my mind. Yeah. Every single terrible thing that happened was hilarious to me and just gave me so much fodder for like actively enjoying my mocking of the movie while I was watching it. It kept me so engaged. And at the same time, also like I was basically live texting the movie to some friends because there were so many things that were so ridiculous and unbelievable that I had to like we rewound and took screenshots of things multiple times so that I could share them with my friends to be like, this just happened.
This is what we're choosing to watch.
Yes. So it was layers upon layers of entertainment. And because of that, I am going to give Shark Exorcist 4 out of 5 special effect vomits. Because it's not a good movie. It's not getting a 4 because it was a good movie. It's getting a 4 because it was exactly the kind of bad movie that is enjoyable to watch.
Fair.
And I very much enjoyed watching it.
I'm on board with that. I very much enjoyed it. I can't praise it to those levels because one thing this movie did a really good job at was dragging things out way too long. The ending end credit scene, very much case in point, but it happened a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's classic bad movie stuff, but it's also really boring. So it's one of those things, it comes around where you're like, oh, it's funny. They're hanging on this too long. Oh, now I'm bored. Man, they're still doing this.
Yeah.
But too much.
Unintentionally using some actual, humor skill.
Yeah. But then they go too far and it's no longer acceptable. And so for me, this is 2.5 special effect vomits out of 5. It is enjoyable and fun, and it's even worth sitting through those overly long scenes to appreciate it. I approve of it. I'm rating it lower because of those boring things and because it is actually terrible, which I think kind of matters a little bit. So I'm going to count that. But still, see it. Go see Shark Exorcist.
Yeah. I want to say those long, drawn-out, waste of time chunks were helpful in that it allows opportunity for the people who are watching it to have conversation about how terrible what they just saw was without missing anything in the movie. It's
giving you space.
Yeah.
Which is very kind of them. I feel like the whole thing is avant-garde.
One sad thing, though, is that watching this movie gave me this oh, right, bad movies are good. They're fun to watch. And then we tried to watch another bad movie called Shark in the Corn?
Yeah, Tubi sent us straight to Sharks of the Corn, I believe.
Yeah, which sounds like it should be the same kind of terribly fun to watch,
there
right?
was a shark going through the corn.
We stopped watching it within minutes because it was not at all the same thing, and it was
the
bad.
Effects were way better. There was an actual shark puppet being dragged around in the cornfield.
Okay, if by that you mean the camera had been strapped to a rubber shark toy.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, but it completely missed the mark. It was nowhere near the sweet spot for me. It was just this is a waste of my time immediately. And I could not even tell you exactly what the difference is.
I was enjoying it, but not enough to keep going after we had already watched a whole overlong movie.
No, immediately I was like, no, not interested, which is funny.
Yeah.
So,
bonus review.
Shark Exorcist gave me this false hope in bad movies.
Yeah.
Because it's very, very rare to actually find a movie that sits in that sweet spot for a long time.
Yeah. I think Sharks of the Corn, from the bit we watched, was trying very hard to be funny. And that's
I don't like
part of it.
Yeah. Anyway, that was that. We'll be back next week with another movie.
Yay.
Unless Mikey wanders off because he found a squirrel.
Shut up. I don't wander off.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, there's a bit for the end of the recording.
It's not my fault. They're so interesting.